for a better part of my life, I've been a firm advocate of I don't like hospitals. And it's not even so much because they do anything wrong or anything like that, or they malpractice or whatever it might be. No, it's not. It's nothing like that. I just don't like hospitals because it reminds me so much of death and things that can go wrong, and because they do everything by the book. And if you know anything about me at all, I don't like the book. Fuck the book. Okay. I hate doing anything the correct way. I'd rather figure it out for myself. I'd rather fake an injury than have to go out of my way to go to the hospital for something I'm actually injured about. Because I didn't really think that part through. Anyway, I have one arm right now. I had a rough last 10 days or so. I haven't been able to make any videos at all because I'm in so much pain. And let's talk about it. So with that being said, let's get into it. Let's do it. All right, where to begin? All right. Let me just start off by saying, by the way, hey, I'm Justin. I'm also known as Callmecookem. For a better part of my life, I'm a TikTok bartender, kind of, but I spend more time on Instagram and Snapchat than anything else now. Let's try out YouTube. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I post pretty vigorously almost every single day on every single platform, and I try to, bounce it out for the last, 3.5 years. What? 3.5? No, that's right. It'll be 4 years in March. Oh, shit. Anyway, but I've done a pretty good job of posting almost every single day, sometimes 2-3 times a day. And on days I'm feeling really creative, I might do 5+ a day. And more so recently, I've been spending a lot more time trying to really put effort, time. I've been trying to care about my content a lot more. In this video, I do not expect to get any kind of traction whatsoever, but I'm going to talk about what happened to me. But first, let me bring up the medical papers because I haven't actually read them yet. So should probably do that. Oh, God damn it. Oh. Okay, I'm all right. Okay. That's so much better. God damn, my room is a mess. All right. Careful. All right. Here we go. Thank you, Johns Hopkins Medicine and Hospital, for taking me in at about 11 o'clock at night on a Wednesday. Anyway. So let's go over what happened here real quick. So on Wednesday, December 6th at around 10:30 p.m. or so, I had a nasty fall. Let me start by saying that I spent about 3 weeks or so for the better part of the first few days of December and the last few weeks of Thanksgiving. And I had a bug. There's some weird thing going around here in Baltimore where everyone was sick, but no one really had true symptoms. I just felt like crap the whole time. And I had finally started getting better. I'd worked the entire time against my better judgment. And I finally had a day off. It was a Wednesday night. And I'm like, I'm going to just sleep and smoke all day. And that just seemed like a great idea. But it was like 10:30 in the morning, whatever, probably about, 12 hours before this whole thing happened. And I was, texted by my friend Taylor. She was like, hey, let's go out to the Travis Scott concert tonight. Like, Travis Scott? He's still relevant? Man, I haven't heard his song in like 5 years at least. Especially the whole Astro World thing. Like, I wasn't gonna try to get into that, but I'm like, you know what? I have the night off. Why not? But let's add some juice to the story real quick. I woke up very hungover on Wednesday morning. I was so hungover. I was frantic about hitting up my boss, who I was working with the night before, because I don't remember anything after midnight. That's not good. We're doing an event. It was karaoke at One Star. And if you guys are familiar with One Star Country Club here in Baltimore, it's a very busy bar every single day of the week. And we were packed. And I'm not going to lie, I was drunk. I was very drunk that night. Don't remember anything. So the next day I went in early. I tried to stalk the bar. I tried to reset everything. Because I'm like, hell, I got to make sure I'm not in trouble. I run into, my boss about an hour or so later. He's completely fine with it. I mentioned the fact that I wanted to go to the Travis Scott concert with, Taylor and all them. And he was like, one of the reps just offered me tickets. How many do you need? I'm like, I'm going with 2 people. I mean, how many can I get? He was like, I'll get you 4. So not only am I going to this concert, I get to go for free. And I love my free 99s kind of stuff. So why not? Went to the concert. I'm pretty sure 95% of the people in there were below the age of 18 years old. I felt very old. This sucked. I was like, the back end of me growing up through college, like I was listening to Travis Scott. I won't say my age right now, but I mean, you can kind of guess. That was a little while ago. Why is everyone in there born after he had started making his music? I don't know why it bothers me so much, but it does. But by the way, there was one massive cloud of weed smoke inside the building. Shout out to CFG Arena. Good job. Thank you for allowing people to smoke full-on blunts inside the building. I didn't even know that was possible. You can't smoke cigs inside. Blunts inside. That makes sense. Welcome to 2023. It's almost 2024 too. Crazy. Had a few drinks while I was there, maybe like 2 or 3 max. And if you know me at all, 2 or 3 is me like heading into work. I usually do 20 to 30 while I'm at work. I'm not really necessarily proud of that, but in addition to that, as a little side note, I have not had a drink since. So it's been about 2 weeks since I've had any kind of alcohol in my system. So perfectly good concert. Honestly, he did pretty well live. It was a solid concert. Like I mean, the show was great. The visuals was fantastic. He really blended with the crowd very nicely, and people really seemed like they're having a good time. So Travis Scott, great job, truly. I wish I could have smoked with you, but we'll come to that some other day. Leaving the concert, people I was with, they were like, "Oh, let's go out tonight." We never get the chance to go out. I'm like, honestly, not a bad idea. I haven't really been out in a minute. I mean, I had the time to do so. I was going to work for 2 days, or 2.5 days, really. So I'm like, I have time to be hungover too. Like this is perfect. I've worked a lot the last few weeks. Had some money saved up. I didn't spend anything on Black Friday or or the Cyber Monday at all. So I'm like, got some extra money saved. Why not? Let's go for it. So leaving the concert, everyone's like, "Oh, let's get an Uber. Let's do this." I'm like, dude, we're like 4 blocks away. We're not getting a goddamn Uber. I'll just take a scooter. It'll be fine. I'm like, "Are you sure?" You're like, you've had a few. I'm like, I've had a couple. I'll be honest with you, it's probably the most sober I've ever gotten onto a scooter before. I'm usually pretty drunk when I do. And this is not me advocating anything. I understand the dangers associated with it. I understand how everything goes on with that. Things happen. But I mean, truth be told, I was sober. I really was. But if you guys know anything at all with the real world, it's that things happen. And what's that one theory? It's like anything that can go wrong will go wrong. It's like Mendel's law or something like that. Mendel's table. No, it's that's something to do with genotyping, isn't it? Whatever it might be. Whatever can go wrong will go wrong. I'd gotten on a scooter. 2 of the people went in the opposite direction. I'm like, you guys are stupid. You're going the wrong way. I'm going to go the right way. So I started heading in the direction that I know is to be correct. Nothing out of the ordinary. Get in the scooter, go about a block or so, and I realized that there's like a brick missing in the sidewalk. And instead of going like around it or anything, I'm like, I'm just going to do what I always do. I'm just going to hop right over it, right? I went to go jump with the scooter. I went to go pull up, and it didn't move. Just kept going. I'm like, oh, shit. All right, well, I'm going like 16 miles an hour right now or so. I think that's like the max speed on the super pedestrian linked scooters. Linked, the lime greenish yellow ones. In Baltimore, you only have like 3 at a time. We have Spin, Bird, and Linked right now, and it was on a Linked. Not that it matters. For the record, I'm not bashing on any kind of scooters at all. Once I get full motion back in my arm, I'm going right back on one again. With that being said, I also own one as well. It's downstairs. It's dead because I can't remember where I put the charger when I moved. So, whoops. Honestly, it's probably right next to the scooter. I'll get around to that. But yeah, so I hit the little divot. I'm like, all right, well, I'm just going to jump off to the side, right? I'm like, oh, the scooter's kind of coming with me right now. I'm like, you know what? Roll out of it, right? Like, I mean, usually in these kind of moments, like right before you fall, you have like a split second to actually, make a decision. So I'm like, I'm just going to roll into it. So I went to go put my shoulder down and I went to go roll. Like, it's everything you learn in playing the old Zelda and everything growing up. Like, you're told to roll out of a fall, right? If you're falling down from a high distance, roll out of it, right? I'm no gymnast. I can't roll very well, apparently. Excuse me. So, oof. I don't know what that was. So I went to go pop down, hit my shoulder. I jumped a little bit with it, which I'm pretty sure is not a normal thing. First initial hit hurt like hell. And then I kind of landed on my front a little bit, which I found out like 2 days ago that I had some bruises on my chest too. That's beside the point. And immediately, my whole right arm freaking numb, just from the shoulder, like the base of my trap, all the way down to my fingertip. Super numb. I'm like, this is like the worst stinger I've ever had before in my entire life. Absolutely absurd. But I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to hold it for a second. I'm going to suck it up. I'm going to be all right. And I'm like holding my arm for dear life because this motherfucker hurt. And from a distance, like across the freaking street, I hear, yo, isn't that the dude on TikTok, the bartender? Dude, you're pre-med, man. Go help him out. And I didn't even pick my head up for this shit. From a distance, I'm like, oh my God, my saving grace. I have a follower that is pre-med. I'm good as a golden goose. Like I'm safe. He's got me. Like, this is perfect. He walks up to me. He's like, I need you to stand up as straight as you can. I'm like, all right, I will. And immediately, oh, see, it was my right shoulder. So it would have been like this. And my left one was like up here. And I'm like, all right. He was like, I need you to like, try to relax. I'm like, I'm trying. And he was like, all right, well, I can tell you right now, your shoulder's not dislocated. I'm like, well, I have no idea what it feels like, so I have to trust you on that. But real quick, my right arm is about 12 inches longer than my left right now. My reach isn't past my knees, and I can touch my calf with my right hand right now. And I'm standing up straight. I'm pretty sure it's not supposed to be allowed. I'm sure that's possible. Like, am I the Elastic Man? Like, am I Plastic Man right now? What's going on right now? Like, I'm Mr. Fantastic. I'm stretchy now, right? And I'm looking around. I'm confused. I was like, listen, if you say it's not dislocated, I believe you. But something's not right here. It's like, honestly, man, I think it's just like, go walk it off. You'll be all right. And I'm like, all right. So I panicked. I was just going back and forth, and just, panting, holding my arms, waiting for the pain to go away. It didn't go away. Not even a little bit. Yeah, it was tough. And then, by the way, the person I was with, I low-key kicked out of the bar that I work at about a month or two before that. I haven't seen her since. Don't think she's a very big fan of me. Anyway, she kind of wandered off to the distance with some random car that pulled up, which means I was left alone. So I'm like, you know what? I have to make a phone call. I don't know who I'm going to call yet. I don't know who I'm going to talk to. I don't know if it's going to be the ambulance, my parents. I don't know who yet, but I'm going to make a big phone call. I went to go pull my phone out. Phone's at 6%. I'm like, of course, the one day I don't charge my fucking phone. The one day is the day I need it. So, by the way, side note, keep your phone charged, all right? It's not up to the bartender to do that for you. Charge your fucking phone. So I'm like, I have time for one phone call. I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm not telling anybody. I'm going to go to the hospital, but no one's going to know about it. I'm like, yeah, like, truth be told, done. I'm going to the hospital. I'm like, I'm not calling 911. I'm not doing that. I'm like, I'll get an Uber. Uber was going to be there in 33 minutes. It was 25 degrees outside. And I'm like, I'm wearing a very light hoodie right now. Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. I'm like, all right, well, how far away can I possibly be? So I pull up Google Maps and I'm like 6-7 blocks away. I'm like, shit. I don't know if I can one arm limp all the way over there right now, especially when it's so damn cold out. But I'm like, I'm going to try my best. And I look around. I'm like, I feel like I'm over by the Orioles Stadium, like Camden Yards, like on Utah Street. Because I saw Utah Street, and I'm like, one of our sister bars is over there. It used to formerly known as Sliders. It's now known as Section 771. So if you're around there for the Orioles games, feel free to stop in. I'm always there. I'm going to go there. And I'm like, oh, it's almost 11 o'clock at night on a Wednesday. They might be closed. I'm like, you know what? I got keys to the place. What's up? Worst case scenario, I'm going to go in there, warm up a little bit, charge my phone. If I have to, I'll call my boss. I'm like, hey, listen, I opened the bar when no one was there. I'm headed to the hospital. We'll talk later. 99% sure he'd be completely fine with it. But luckily, as soon as I show up there, there's a few customers there. The girl working, Christina, recognized immediately that there was something wrong with me. She called me an Uber, sent me. She was like, where do you need to go? Like, you want to call an ambulance? I'm like, nope, literally just send me straight to the hospital. Don't even care which one. She sent me over to Johns Hopkins. I'm like, fantastic. So as soon as I got in the car, driver, real nice, trying to talk to me the whole time. I'm not going to lie, couldn't do it. I couldn't talk. I was in so much pain. I'm like, I just have to go to the hospital, dude. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, please don't be mad at me. By the way, side note too, I still owe Christina money. So I got to do that later. I went through the whole process. As soon as I walk in, they want my insurance card, everything else, which kind of sucks because I'm right-handed. So I put everything in my right hand, my right pocket. I only have my left hand. I think I have my left hand. I'm mildly ambidextrous with some things, but not really. So even reaching into my left pocket to pull out my wallet was a problem. And because of, issues with, drugs and weapons and stuff, they don't really directly help you when it comes to filling in paperwork. They ask you to bring in someone with you. I'm too stubborn to do that, so I just did it myself. Did all the paperwork and all that. They're like, oh, do you have insurance? And I'm like, I don't know. And like, what do you mean you don't know? And I'm like, well, I've had Kaiser, which is ACA, like Obamacare, for the last 4 or 5 years. But literally 2 days before that, I switched on to my employer's Blue Cross Blue Shield's healthcare policy. I knew the card was sent into my parents' house, but I ain't got it yet. And the guy was like, oh, no worries. We'll search you up using your, Social Security and all that other stuff. And then, lo and behold, I had two insurances under my name, which by the way, it means I'm paying for two right now. Someone help me with that. I bring up the right one, thank God, because I was not about to be the one to figure that one out. Sit down in the waiting area, and it looks packed. Keep in mind, it's like 11:30 or so, probably on a Wednesday night, almost midnight into Thursday. And this place is packed, and everyone in there looked like they were dying. And I'm the only one in there by themselves, holding his arm, crying. Actually, no, I wasn't even crying anymore. I was so dehydrated, I had no water left in my system to even cry. So I'm like, you know what? There is a phone charger next to me, a little charging station. I'm like, oh, thank God. So I mustered up the willpower to plug my freaking phone in, which was hard as hell, by the way. Got some charge, and I'm like, all right. I'm texting my parents, texting my boss, and texting the one other person who I felt as if they actually gave a shit right now. Actually, I lied. I texted the fourth person. So I texted my parents first. First thing I did, I was like, all right, I'm going to roll this out the exact same way I did the last time. And it's almost the exact same message to my parents and my boss. It starts off with, please don't be mad at me. I'm in the ER. Something happened. I'm going to be fine. Do not freak out. I'll let you know as soon as I know more information. But as of right now, I'm in a lot of pain, and I'm about to go be seen here soon. So as soon as I go through the full process, I will let you know. And keep in mind, it's like midnight. So there's no way in hell people are going to be awake in order to actually, respond back to me. Luckily, because I didn't want to sit there and talk to them anyway. And my phone was not going to last that much longer anyway. Like, it was plugged in, but it was a shitty charger. And while I was texting, I was actually losing more power than I was gaining. So by the time I went to the back, I was like 10%. I waited. I think I got seen at about 12:15, 12:30 or so between that time period. And as soon as I went to the back, they put me on like a little bed, but I can't lay down flat because my fucking arm hurt. I couldn't lay on my side because my arm hurt, and I couldn't do anything at all. Like, I didn't have a sling or anything yet. Like, I just had my arm just dangling off to the side, like with a bone protruding from the side of my arm, which, by the way, it looked like my shoulder was like down here. I'm not really sure that's possible. And I still had no idea what the hell was going on. So this is going to be fun. I'm going to list everything out, and I'll tell you the time periods in a second. But immediately they gave me 2 white circular pills. I'm assuming at the time period they're just nothing more than anti-inflammatories or like pain meds. So what they did is at 1:41 in the morning, they gave me acetaminophen. I knew that. Tylenol. Pretty simple. Extra strength Tylenol. They gave me 2, which I think is like roughly 400 milligrams or so. That didn't do a goddamn thing. I stayed there until 3 minutes later. They gave me ketorolac or Toradol. I still don't know what that is. And I'm just sitting there in pain, waiting for everything to kick in. And I am like, I couldn't even cry anymore. I had no water left in my system to cry. I hadn't eaten since like noon. I had only things I had to drink with a few drinks I had at the event. Like, I didn't even have the water that was still in my pocket, by the way. I was in so much pain I forgot I had water with me. It's a different story. So I wasn't seen again until 3:06. Keep in mind, I'm still in this like bed in the middle of the hallway. And that's when they gave me fentanyl. Sublime Amaze. At 3:06 a.m. I'm not really sure. I'm not sure if I was... No, that was right when I got into the room. So they had actually carted me into ICU. This is by no means an ICU kind of moment. But I think it was just the only spot they had room there for. And like, keep in mind, like, I'm in a lot of pain. Like, I am sobbing. And it's sad when you see a grown man crying. It's depressing as hell. And that's when at 3:34, they gave me morphine, Dilaudid. It's all in caps. I don't know if that's an acronym or not. I was told that this is some of the strongest stuff that you can ever get. Or maybe this is the next one it is. I don't know. But it's morphine, I guess. It's an opiate. So one of the things I did tell him is I'm actually allergic to opiates. They become a hallucinogen in my system, and it makes me feel kind of weird. But that's just beside the point. But they only gave it to me because they had to, because I was literally begging for it. And I know there's a lot of issues when it comes to like, nurses and doctors don't necessarily give you the correct dosages because they don't know the scenario. I'm like, I told them, give me everything. Don't care. Get rid of the pain. Make it go away. I will sign whatever paper. Truth be told, I don't give a shit. Make the pain go away. All right. And then at this point, I think it's when I finally figured out what was going on. So they sent me in the back. They got some x-rays and all that, and which was a bitch and a half. I had to stand still. I had to try to hold my arm up in a position and keep it flat and straight and turned without slouching it over or moving. Oh my God. And the worst part about the whole thing is the nurse was dude, she was gorgeous. I don't even know her name. I was crying so much. I looked like crap. I was not about to say hi. And I think she was like my age too, which sucks. Super nice. Got everything done, and she was like, "This is amazing. You want to see this?" I'm like, I don't like surgery pictures. I don't like x-rays. I don't like things like that. Like, just tell me how it is. And she was like, "No, you're going to want to see this." And I'm like, "All right, fine. What's wrong?" And I see the x-ray, and I wish I had a picture of it, but they didn't give me one. Honestly, it's probably for the better. If you were to like Photoshop like the human body, if you were to like an x-ray of the whole human body, and like you were to like cut, which is copy, delete, and then repaste. If you were to cut like the arm, my right arm, and just plop it like 12 inches below and just have the shoulder look completely intact, that's what it looked like. It looked like the world's worst game of operation. And there was like two little splints of like slivers of something just like kind of off to the side that I couldn't quite figure out. It looked like a broken bone. And she was like, yeah, I'm assuming that the few chips from the top of your shoulder kind of just fell down into that pocket and your arm is completely dislocated. It's a full dislocation. And I'm like, oh, damn, is that like this probably happens pretty often, right? She's like, to be honest, no, I've never seen a full dislocation before. I'm like, what do you mean? I see people with their dislocated arms all the time. She's like, yeah, but it usually pops out like a little bit or just off to the side. Your whole arm is out of the socket. I'm like, okay, what do you want from me? She was like, well, it could have just been you falling. I'm like, I know it sounds like super sus. All I did was soberly fall off a scooter. She was like, are you sure you're sober? I'm like, you can hit me with a breathalyzer right now if you want. Like, I haven't had a drop of alcohol in my system in probably 6 hours. 3 or 4 drinks in an event 6 hours ago. At this point, I mean, like, it's long out of my system. Like, I have nothing in my system at all. Like, I'm completely fine. Like, this might be the most sober I've been in a while. And she took my word for it and everything. And she was like, all right, we'll send you to the back. So I went back to the room. And they're like, yeah, we're going to need the full orthopedic team here for this. We can probably pop in right away, but this would be a good learning experience if that's okay with you. And I'm like, why am I always the lab rat? Every time. It's always like, oh, this never happens. Do you mind if we teach a class on you? I'm like, oh, yeah, cool. Little side note, too, I have a heart condition that I was born with. I spent a lot of time in Johns Hopkins Hospital. Like, I had a team of cardiologists I used to see like every other week, it seemed like. And I freaking hated it. I had a heart monitor all throughout high school. It was annoying. Anyway, back to the timeline. It is now, I guess this is right when I got the propofol diprivavan at 4:40 a.m. At this point, I'm probably in the most pain I've been in yet. Excruciating. It was it was so bad. Hurt like hell. And I'm sitting on this bed waiting for the team of orthopedic surgeons to come through. And like every like half hour, I'm like, I had to hit the help button. I'm like, I'm such a freaking bitch. Like, I had to hit the help button. Like, I'm like, I need help. I need someone to come in here, watch over me, because like I need just make the pain go away. This hurts like hell. And they were just waiting for me. And I think right around this time period is when a different nurse came in, who was also very attractive, side note. Different nurse came in and she was like, all right, we're going to put you under now. She was like, are you ready? I'm like, yeah, I'm ready. She put something into the syringe, which by the way, I had 2 IVs on the same arm. Because I guess you can't do it with the dislocated arm. She put it in, she was like, all right, just count back from 10. And you should be asleep before you hit 0. And I'm like, all right. So I counted back and I was like kind of waiting there looking at her. She kept on looking back at me like I was crazy or something. I'm like, what's up? She's like, you feel tired? I'm like, I was tired before I got here. She's like, can you fall asleep? I'm like, I'm pretty sure if I wasn't in this much amount of pain, I could close my eyes and just like that, I could fall asleep. Oh, excuse me. And no, wasn't tired. So she was like, oh, it's kind of strange. So she waited for the other doctors to come in and they get me like, it wasn't anesthesia or anything. It was something else. I don't know. But anyway, but it took a little while. It took like 3 dosages of it or whatever. And they're like, we only need to put you asleep for like 30 seconds. And I was like, be honest, how much would it hurt if you were to put it in while I'm awake? And she was like, well, if you think it hurts now. And I'm like, you know what? Enough said. Done. Done. I'm not going to argue with you. Like, just do whatever you need to do. I'll sign whatever I need to sign. Do what you need to do. And then one doctor comes in who's probably the most confident looking doctor I've ever seen for my entire life. This guy looked like he's never made a mistake before in his entire life. And if you've seen someone who looks like this, you would know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. Like he just radiated confidence. And he picked up a bed sheet that was just kind of like on a table nearby, and he started wrapping her up around his hands. And I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. Are you about to like kill me? Or is this like a new kink unlocked kind of thing? Because like, I don't know what you're about to do with that rag or like that sheet, but it looks kind of hot. It does. He was like, with all the advances in modern medicine, you'd be surprised to find out that this is still the best way of fixing this. So I'm like, you know what? I'll take your word for it. I'm not going to question you anymore. So he put it underneath my arm, which by the way, hurt to just put it underneath my freaking armpit. That's another story. And I just remember looking kind of up at him, and then they hit me with something else. I'm not sure if it's on this list or not. There's still a bunch of stuff I didn't list yet. And I was out. I was asleep. I woke up. They're all still right there. And in my head, I was like, oh, maybe like 30 seconds had passed. I literally asked the one nurse, I was like, oh, how long was I out for? She was like, a minute? I was like, damn, that's the best minute of sleep I've ever had before in my life. And she was like, you still in pain? I'm like, I'm still in quite a decent amount of pain right now. It still hurt a lot. But I could tell that things were at least feeling better. Not like good, by any means good, but they were at least feeling better. You know, they pulled the IV off of me and everything. They're like, yo, just wait here until you're ready to actually wake up. And then as soon as you're ready to head out, take your time, you can go do it. I'm like, all right. So at this point, I think it was like right before 5 a.m. I think I just laid there until about 6 or so, or just shy of 6 o'clock. And then I had gotten up, gotten dressed, which by the way, my whole arm numb as fuck. You would have thought I still had the world's worst stinger. It hurt so bad. And I started heading to the lobby, and I'm like, oh, what do I have to do? Like, you're good. You know, just head home, be safe, give us a call back in about a week, which, by the way, still not done yet. Number's here. I'll get around to it. Ortho clinic. Yeah, I got a call there. All right, but to the fun part. This is when the people started waking up, started asking me where I was, what happened, what'd you do? And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get an Uber back home. I'm gonna sit in my room, kind of compile this real quick, kind of figure out what's going on. And then I'll get into answering people's questions, which I think is pretty fair. It's like, you want me to just find myself real quick? I just went through something, mildly traumatic and just, very painful. And I just need to find myself first. So I sat down. I was like, all right. I think my parents had just called me. My mom called me. She's like crying. I'm like, oh, great. I can't tell, but you can tell she was definitely very bothered by the fact that I didn't bring anyone with me. She wanted to know everything that happened. I gave her the whole rundown, everything going on, all that. Like, yeah, I'm just sitting in my house now. She's like, well, how long are you going to be off of work for? Like, do you need help? Well, maybe you should come home. I have, your dad and I can watch you for the next, couple weeks to a couple months. I'm like, whoa. It's a dislocated shoulder. I'll be good in a couple days. This is 9 days ago. Yeah, 9 days ago. And she was like, all right, well, just keep us posted. And I started, answering people back up again. I did a little breakdown post on my Snapchat story, which I think at the time period I had like 48,000 followers. I think I just broke 50,000 today, which is yay. So hopefully I can become verified on Snapchat here soon too. Yeah, so I was like, I'm just gonna do a little breakdown. I'm like, hey guys, this is what happened. Gave the whole breakdown. People freaking out. I think I had 100 people call me, 500 plus texts, at least a couple hundred Snapchats. God knows how many DMs. In addition to that, I have not made a single social media video in almost 2 weeks. And for 3 weeks before that, I was doing nothing more than reposting videos that had worked out beforehand to try to see if I can regain traction. And it actually worked out pretty well. So I've not made any real content in probably over a month. And that is not good. So this is my little, intro back into that, which by the way, side note, I have a video that I have coming out hopefully the next couple of days, about how some pieces of shit are drugging women now in public, and it's working, and it's very upsetting, and I don't know how to go about it. because depending on how I do it, I know it can get traction, but I also don't want to add light to a situation that could be this serious. So I've been thinking about it a lot recently. Anyway, that's what's happened to me. It's been 9 days. It's the longest I haven't worked since I started working again 3 years ago. I haven't been this much in my room and God knows how long. I haven't been able to sleep on my side in almost 2 weeks. I haven't had sex in like 2 weeks. I just want to give you all a little update. I thought hopefully you guys enjoyed as much as I did. I'm still in an excruciating amount of pain. I did the wrong thing and I looked up my symptoms on Google. And for a full dislocation, it seems to be pretty well understood that it's going to be between 6 and 12 weeks recovery. That's not going to happen. It's been 9 days. I'm going back to work tonight. All right. It's going to be a 6-hour shift with my left hand. And I'm going to do it. Like initially, I was going to just take the 2 days off and going back into work. So it was a Sunday home Ravens game right after my incident. And I was like, you know what? So what? My arm hurts a little bit. Like it's fine. Do you realize how many things you use your hands for while bartending? Like I knew it was a lot beforehand. Like 4, easy. Like, oh, what if you like the soda gun? Opening up like more than one beer. I'm like, all right. So I'm going to show you guys exactly what I can do real quick. All right. So we're going to move this chair real quick. You know what? I'm going to literally go on my knees just so you guys can see me better. Which looks like the exact same height as the chair. All right. Slaying, right? Arm. This is me attempting to just move my arm up and down. Easy, right? Yeah, I know. I know what that motion is, all right? Let me try to lift my arm up. Oh, God damn it. I'm trying to lift it out. Like I can push it out. That's easy, but I can't hold it. Like it's like the whole arm is dead. And it's freaking annoying too. I've looked more into it. I don't think there's much more on my end that I can truly do. I don't think I need surgery for this. I was told that it's going to be a lot of pain for a while because it was a full dislocation, but they didn't see any bruising around any kind of tendons or ligaments from my shoulder, so I should be fine in that aspect. However, yesterday I did realize that I not only fallen down on my shoulder, but I fell out on my chest. Like I knew that, but it didn't quite dawn on me. The reason I know that is because on the base of my bicep, you can't really see it right now. Actually, maybe a little bit. Do you see how it's yellow? The other one's not yellow. It's not yellow. Yellow. Literally yellow. That's not good. To my understanding, it's only that color because of the bruising from the initial impact itself, and it takes a few days, in this case about a week, in order for that to show up. It doesn't hurt to the touch at all. Like I can feel it completely fine, but it doesn't hurt. The backside of my arm, it's very numb to the point where I can't really scratch in order to get relief. But I don't think it's any kind of bicep injury because I am able to still use my bicep. Go in both directions with no pain whatsoever, including my tricep. I don't feel any pains there. And I don't feel any pains when I'm trying to use it in order to rotate my arm out at all. It just feels like I don't know how to use that muscle again, which really sucks too, because for the longest time, all I really had was shoulder muscles. And I'm also in a profession where I have to not only be on my feet all day, but I have to use my hands the entire time. So working tonight with one arm, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I just hope I don't make it worse. Anyway, this is a quick little update. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did. And I know I've said it 1,000 times before, but I'm actually gonna do it again. I want to start getting into this YouTube stuff. Like I've gained 60,000 followers in the last month, and I really want to see if I can make this work. My future videos won't be anything like this. Hopefully. I'm not trying to get freaking hurt again because I suck at being injured. I've never even broken a bone before. Technically. I broke some of the shoulder there and I fractured some stuff before, but never technically broke one. But it seems like I've had everything else. Like I've torn my ACL, my medial lateral meniscus, I have a bulge L4. At the time period, by the way, I never had a shoulder injury directly before. I had a partial torn labrum rotator cuff and a sprained AC joint. Kind of funny though. The sprained AC. Oh wait, no, I take that back. I was going to say no. The bump is gone out of my AC joint, but no, it's still there. Damn it. For a while there, I was thinking that the bump was going to go away. I'm like, hey, my dislocated shoulder fixed my AC joint. Nope, still there. Still feel it. Damn you. Anyway, guys, from the bottom of my heart, I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you for the added support as well. So many of you guys have been just so kind. I really hope I can make you guys proud. But anyway, with that being said, guys, thank you so much. Have a great day. Follow, subscribe for more. And as always, have a great day, y'all.